Okay, so this is 10.3 day 2. We've got an example here with a biker that's riding east 42 degrees south for 5 miles, then turns and goes north 54 degrees east for 8 miles. Find the distance and bearing from the beginning to the end of the journey. So the distance will be this blue, and the bearing will be that purple angle. Okay, written in what could be multiple forms, but I'd go with the easiest form. Okay, so first work I would do is understanding that this distance right here is the sum of these two distances here. So I'm gonna call that x1 and x2. And then this distance here and this distance here will be equal to that distance there. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this triangle right here, but before I do, I want that angle, which would be 90 minus 42, which should be 48. And then the other angle I'm going to utilize will be this angle right here. That angle will be 36. Okay, right triangles will allow me to do some work here. So working in this triangle here, I could find this green length, which I'm going to call y, let's call it y1. We'll call this length y2, and we'll call this length over here y. Okay, so y1 plus y2 should equal y. So I would take the cosine of 48, set it equal to y over 5, and then multiply both sides by 5. So y will equal 5 times the cosine of 48, which is 3.35. So y is approximately 3.35. Let me put that up here. No, y1 that is. y1 that is. Approximately 3.35. Okay, let's find x1. So the sine of 48 equals x over 5. So multiplying both sides by 5, I get, no, I made that mistake last hour. What's 36 plus 54? 90. 46 and 56 is 100. I made that exact same mistake last hour. Yes, and that jacked the whole thing up. That's why I'm doing this now. Yes. So 5 times the sine of 48 is 3.72. So x is approximately 3.72, and that's x1. Okay, so we got that length. Okay, well, let's work over here. Let's find x2 and let's find y. So the cosine of 36 equals x2 over 8. I'm going to skip a step. Instead of multiplying both sides by 8 and showing that it cancels, I know that that's true. So 8 times cosine 36 equals 6.47. Okay, so this is approximately 6.47. And 8 times the sine of 36 would equal y, which is 4.70. So y is approximately 4.70. Okay, here are my 4 lengths. Okay, so in order to find y2, I would take y, which is 4.70, and minus subtract 3.35. So 4.7 minus 3.35 is equal to 1.35. And x1 plus x2 will equal this length up here. So I would take 3.72 plus 6.47 and get 10.19. Okay, now I get a triangle that looks like this. 1.35, 10.19. I want to find this length, which is my distance, and then I want to find this angle, which is my bearing. I'll call that B. Okay, Pythagorean theorem would tell me that 1.35 squared plus 10.19 squared should equal that hypotenuse squared. I'm doing a calculation, and I get, after the square root, I get that the distance is about 10.28 miles. So our distance is about 10.28 miles. You guys can check your answers if you're already complete. If not, no big deal. You can not listen to me. Let's quick talk. Bring it together here for a moment. Would you agree that the sine of B, our bearing, would be 10.19 over our hypotenuse 10.28? Would you agree? Okay. Would you agree that the cosine would be 1.35 over 10.28? And that the tangent would be what? 10.19 over what? 1.35. So if that's true, then what that means is that I can use any one of the three inverse trig functions, meaning this. I can take the inverse sine of that and get B. Or I can take the inverse cosine of that and get the same angle. Or the inverse tangent of that and get the exact same angle. Let's give it a try. People born in January through April do inverse sine. May to August, inverse cosine, and September to December, inverse tangent. Let's compare what we get. I'm a June birthday, so I think that was cosine. June 9th. What are you? 21st. June 21st. That's like the summer. Yeah, that's like the longest day of the year. Yeah. Were you? Yeah. I was supposed to be born. Oh, so you were late. Yeah. I was late too. Yeah. Do you get 82.45 degrees-ish? Okay, cool. So our angle here, I think I did it in purple originally. If this is 82.45 degrees, how would I write that as a bearing? Facing what direction? How many degrees do I turn what direction? Yeah, so our bearing will be north, 82.45 degrees east. 82.41? Okay. And it might have been how I rounded on whichever side you had utilized. Okay, but relatively speaking, 82.4. Yeah, does that work for you? Okay. And then our distance, as we already mentioned, our distance would be approximately 10.28 miles. So they got a little work to get home, but nothing that a little shot of protein couldn't do for you. We didn't screw that up this hour, or by we, I mean me. Okay, so that's good, and we'll call it a day. So like, subscribe. If you're my 100th subscriber, I'll bring you some kind of GNC gift card, good at any location.